When you think of the name M. Night Shyamalan, what do you think of? Do you think of The Sixth Sense? Do you think of Signs? Or do you think of Lady in the Water or even Glass? Regardless of how you feel, the apple does not fall far from the tree. As Ishana Night Shyamalan, the daughter of M. Night, steps into the horror genre with her directorial debut, The Watchers. The Watchers is rated PG-13 with a runtime of 1 hour and 42 minutes. I had a chance to check out the film. I did give a short reaction, just kind of my overall thoughts, but this is going to be my full review. I am going to be getting into spoilers later in the video, but don't worry, I'm going to give you fair warning before I do so. The Watchers is basically about this girl by the name of Mina, played by Dakota Fanning, who gets stranded in the woods of the Irish countryside. And she finds out that she's being stalked by some unknown forces. She's forced to hole up in this shelter with 3 others who are also stuck here, while these forces, these creatures, whatever they are, in the woods watch their every move, while these individuals try to come up with a means of trying to escape. I'm gonna start talking about my positives first, and I think the first thing I want to talk about is the camera work. The cinematography in here is great. The vast shots of the Irish countryside really kind of hammer home that feeling of being alone, just this vast open green that you see. It's kind of scary in and of itself. And the way that the camera kind of pans up to see all the dark and tall trees just standing there and looking menacing, I thought that those types of shots were really well done. Now I want to talk about just Mina as a character, not the performance from Dakota Fanning for a second. I think that the backstory explored with her character about the trauma from her past, where she feels like she needs to escape herself, where she feels like she needs to be somebody else, and that little nugget of information kind of plays into the entire plot of the movie in a pretty creative way, I feel. She's suffering a lot of trauma from her past due to a loved one in her family passing away, that she kind of feels responsible for that. So I think that the way that that was explored, I actually enjoyed that. Now when it comes to Dakota Fanning's performance, I just felt she was very phoned in here. It just seemed, I don't know, I just feel like her reactions a lot of the time just felt very wooden, and like I just feel like she wasn't giving as much expression as I would have liked. I think that Georgina Campbell, who plays one of the characters in this movie, she was in Barbarian. She was honestly the highlight of the movie for me. I felt she carried the most, not enthusiasm, but she played her part to its fullest potential, I feel, when it came to the other cast. So she was probably the standout. Now I will be getting into spoiler territory from this point on, so if you do not want the rest of the film ruined for you, I highly suggest you skip to my overall thoughts and score portion of the film. I've included timestamps down below, so you can skip to that if you'd like. Now I want to delve into the Watchers and like their design, like what they actually look like. You don't really see them too much up until like around the middle part of the movie. That's when they start to be a little bit more frequent in their appearances, but you really only see them at night because obviously the CGI is a little off at times, but I think having that CGI during the nighttime, you don't really see a lot of those inconsistencies in that type of quality. But these things are definitely creepy looking. I think the sounds they make are kind of creepy, so I liked the overall design of them. Now it is revealed later in the film that these Watchers, these beings, these creatures, whatever they are, they're actually fairies. I felt that it was a little predictable because as I was watching the story unfold, obviously this takes place in the Irish countryside. There's all of these tunnels and mounds that kind of crop up from under the ground where these things kind of live, because they live in complete darkness. They're afraid of the light. So my mind kind of only went to, oh, it's fairies. And sure enough, that's what they ended up being. Although I did like the revelation of one of the characters, more specifically the character of Madeline, turning out to actually be what's called a halfling. So it's explained through exposition that fairies and humans once lived in harmony long ago. And fairies have this ability to mimic other people. They can literally become someone different if they so choose. So the humans started to fear this kind of power and cast out the fairies. Before all that, they would actually mate with humans and have children together, otherwise known as halflings. But then there was a great war, and then the fairies were kind of forced underground. They lost their wings, and they basically became these dark, demented versions of themselves. The doctor that was studying them, you find out more about him and the fact that he had a late wife by the name of Madeline, and one of these fairies took the form of Madeline throughout this entire movie and was basically with them throughout the entire film. Now, this is where a lot of these stupid choices from the characters were made in the film. I didn't want to go into them earlier in my review. I figured I would save them for the spoiler part of this video. There's a certain scene where the fairies are coming after our main cast and they're trying to find a way out. They pull up a rug that's concealing a hatch of some kind, and I immediately just thought to myself, you guys did not once think to look around in this shelter when you first got there to see, like, okay, how can we get out of here without them kind of noticing us? You didn't think to look everywhere. You just now decided, oh, there's a hatch under the floor, I guess we can go through here. So I just felt like the logic there just didn't quite make sense. And also the character of Daniel kind of falling for one of the fairies' tricks and meeting his fate near the end of the film. They find a way out, they find a boat that was left by the scientists, and so Daniel falls victim to one of these tricks. So I just thought that those decisions that those characters made, it was just stupid to me. Overall, I have to give The Watchers a score of 3 out of 5. Despite the interesting take on Irish folklore, the great cinematography, and a certain character's revealing nature by the end of the film, it was rather predictable in the way it was revealed, and the meh performances from the main cast outside of Georgina Campbell just didn't really do it for me, honestly. And the stupid decisions that these characters made just left me scratching my head. But what did you guys think of The Watchers? Have you seen it yet? What bit of folklore would you love to see adapted for the big screen? Whether it be horror focused, it could be just fantasy focused. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and please like this video if you enjoyed. Sub to the channel, tick the bell, you know the whole deal. Thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, keep it classy and keep it geeky.